Any burning question from the session before?
We had a question about
sorry.
Vroom. So
Yes.
Vroom assumes that an object that looks like a date time is a POSIX object?
Yeah, it's a POSIX that has the format. So this is not 100%, okay? But if the date is year, month, day, hour, minute, second,
Millisecond.
that is the format, it will assume POSIX, it will transform it into POSIX in the time zone UTC. If your timestamp has a different format, I'm not sure what it does, sorry. I haven't investigated that, how it deals if you have like, because the most tricky part is day and month.
Yeah, that's exactly like
That's
5-5.
That's the switch. So just go into the help file of Vroom and
Okay.
see what the assumptions are for the time column.
Okay, good, thank you.
I'm suspecting that it's the month-day format that it's expecting, but I'm not sure.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay. So now we got our data into R. So what's the first thing we want to do? We want to look at the data, don't we? So now the next hour, I'll be presenting you different ways how to visualize the data. First loading everything. So maybe we just want to have a quick look. So just a really basic plot is like, what is my data looking like? So the move2 object, given that it's an SF object, it behaves like it's an SF object when plotting. I'll make this bigger. So that's why if you don't state, if you in this argument max plot 1, if you don't state that, it will plot one plot for each of the attributes. Just that is a thing that SF does. But with this argument, you can solve that problem and you can just have a single plot of your data. You can do this with the basic plots, but of course you can also use ggplot. And as you can see here, we plot the geom SF recognizes the move2 object and plots the points. And then we can use this function to transform our points into lines. And it's also an SF object, so it also gets recognized by ggplot and just does a nice ggplot. Now, often we might want to look at our data within a context. So let's just plot it like with a really simple country contour map. So we can get, for example, this. So we can see our data is here. This can be useful, this information, because you know now where in the world it is, if you don't know that. But maybe we want to zoom in. There are two ways to zoom in. We can just, this world map, from natural Earth, you can also subset, using this layer, you can subset by naming the country. So you can just plot the polygon of your country. But maybe you want a bit more, so you can crop it by the bounding box. So we get the bounding box of this of the bats, expand it a bit, and now we can plot it, having a bit also the neighboring countries, so we have a bit more of context. This is like really, really simple. But maybe we want actually to have an actual map behind our tracks. So there are two ways of doing this. One is with the library in DG Spatial. And this library uses only OpenStreetMap. And then you get your tracks on a map, which is really neat. I think there are some options in the annotation in this first function here to actually select which kind of map you want to have. But I admittedly couldn't find it. Like, it's not really straightforward to find, so I didn't have time to do that, so I dropped it. But you can, if you really want it, you can look for this. There are other there are other servers that you can use, like Stadia, which used to be Stamen, and Google, but for these you need API keys. It's easy to set, so here I put you the link to get, for example, the Stadia API. It's for free, but you have to set it to be able to use this map. So once you have your API key, you can register it, and actually, once you register it, it keeps registered on the computer, so you don't have to enter it over and over again. So now, for example, there are two ways of doing this. So one is using the get map function to retrieve the tiles of the map, and then Stadia has its own get Stadia map. Both do exactly the same. You can choose whichever you feel more, I don't know, whatever. You can choose one of them. And then we have just a different background map. And in Stadia, it was easier to find the different types. So for example, I also used a watercolor or a toner map and did the same. So we have the one with this layer, or the one that is in black and white. Just options, whichever you fancy. With the library patchwork, it's really nice because you can actually join multiple ggplots or multiple, I think it also takes non-ggplot, so you can put multiple plots in a layout. This one is what? Why is this not working? Here they're just next to each other. Now, interactive plots. That's also something when you work with R, you sometimes miss the interactive part. So you like, no, I'm going to take my data, I'm going to put it in QGIS because there I can zoom in and zoom out and do all these things. So there are some tools that actually now allow this also to be done in R. One really nice package is the Plotly package, because you can just take your ggplot and make it interactive. So we take our ggplot that we did before, and now we can actually here with the pointer, we can, you see something popped up here, it's not, anyway. So you can see this is individual 330. So you can see that, that's nice. Then you can go and, for example, zoom in. You can say like, I actually want to zoom in here. No, this isn't, sorry. I want to zoom in here, I want to zoom in. Sorry. Let's see if this works. Here. Why is this not working? Am I using the wrong tool? Zoom, sorry, using the wrong tool. Here you go. So you can zoom into the plot. That is really handy. So you can zoom in, you can zoom out, and it's a really nice thing because you already have your ggplot, and you just like make it zoomable. And it's a really simple way of having a closer look to your data. Another nice interactive package is MapView, but MapView is a bit strict about how it wants its objects. So when you remember at the beginning of last session when I plotted the class of a move-to object, the way the classes were listed was move-to, and then SF, and then the tibble. So the map view wants SF to be at the beginning, because if not, it doesn't recognize the object for whatever reason. So the first thing what we have to do is then drop the move-to class from the object to be able to plot it on map view. So we can, for example, just plot the points. And here, this is nice. We can change the background layer. We can zoom in. We can, yeah. So it's a really nice tool to explore your data. And of course, you can just plot the points, but you can again plot the lines and do exactly the same. You can zoom in. You can zoom out. It's just purely interactive. So this is actually a really cool tool to just explore your data. There are more interactive maps. So here at the end of this example, you got a link to a book-down book making maps with R that also has examples for T-map and for several other interactive plots in R. Yeah, go through it and have a look which one suits your needs. And yeah, it's a pretty nice help, that book. And then we can also animate our tracks. And there are 2 ways of doing this. So we can use GG Animate, for example. And so Martina will talk a bit more about this. There are functions to interpolate data. So you basically make up locations along the line between 2 locations. You probably don't want to do that just under certain circumstances. For example, animations. Because animations, you want that animation goes smooth and doesn't do the jumps. So here, as it's just for visualization and not for analyzing any kind of data, it's really okay to do the interpolation because it really makes a nice animation. For your analysis, Martina will explain, like, make more a point out of it, but just don't interpolate because you're making up locations. Just do it when you actually know what you're doing, but not like, oh, I need regular data. Okay, I'll just interpolate. No, that doesn't work because you're making up data that you're making up your speeds, your distances, everything is not because the animal probably was not walking along that straight line that is connecting the 2 locations where you actually know where your animal was. So in this case, I just interpolated to 1 location every hour, just to I don't know, it depends a bit of how you want your animation to work. And then the code is longish, well, a bit, but it does a really cool animation. This is taking half a minute. So yeah, any questions up to now about plotting or visualizing your data?
For publications, will you recommend that we create our maps in R or actually switching to ArcGIS or QGIS?
I do them all in R.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Just if you try to, from experience, different sets. So sometimes you can spend lots of time with plots. But all the settings, instead of exporting your map and then changing names, try to do everything in R, because as soon as a reviewer or something says like, change this axis, make it bigger, make it smaller, you have to start like again from scratch. If you have everything in R, you run the code, new plot, here you go. So try to, even if it take the moment that it takes, because then you have the code and you can change the plot however often and the different sizes of the lines or whatever, you can just change it without putting lots of effort in. So because the problem in Qt is you do this and then you want to change, because of a reviewer or because of yourself, you want to change the plot, you have to start from scratch and do everything again. And everything okay?
Also, if you have the code, then you can go back to it like months later for different projects and use it again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's really handy to do it in R because you have the code, you run it, and then you actually can do maybe the same plot for other data with some little changes, and it's really nice. Yeah, so now we have our animation here. So the way the script is set, if there is a long period with missed fixes, the animal disappears to not have it moving along a really long line for a really long time. So that's why they're popping up and disappearing, because sometimes they spend like, I don't know, several days in a den or something, and then they disappear. But this is, I mean, I have to admit, I didn't put like lots of effort into this animation. You probably can do it nicer, and I will show you one in a second. So for the paper on Move 2 just got accepted some days ago. And for that paper, we created a Is this not working? Huh. Interesting. We created a vignette with several animations. There you go. And here I just wanted to show you like some cool animations that you can do with GG Animate because they're really small. So here it's just animating different groups of animals depending on the colony they're from. Or you can have the same plot with the animals running around. Or you can have this one, which is like their decoding is it's really specific for each data set. But here you can have like even with the tails moving and everything. And the code is there. The code is like in the vignette in the Move 2 package, and you can go and adjust it to your own data. And it's a yeah, just if you have some time left on your hands, you can spend fiddling with this. And then there is actually a package that does really nice animations. It's called MoveVis. Currently, it's not on Cran, because given that all the packages have been deprecated and are updating but haven't finished the update yet, so the developer is waiting that all packages actually have updated before releasing it on Cran to avoid errors. So it works, but it's on GitHub currently. It will be again on Cran at some point. This package currently still works with the old Move package, but he's planning to update it to the Move 2 package. And in this example, we just use the example data. So we load here the example data. And then, again, to make the animation nicer, this package has the align move function, which does nothing else than interpolate. So here you can also do the settings of how you want to interpolate, which is the interpolation that makes sense for your data set. And then we do a transformation of the projection of the data and calculate. So the way it works, it calculates one frame per each step, and that puts all frames together into a GIF. So this doesn't take all too long. So once you have created all frames, you can just look at the frame. Oh, yeah. So this is basically to check, because rendering the GIF takes quite a while. So you want to check if this is actually the background map and the colors and everything that you want to have. So it's yeah. So you can just check a frame, and then you can use the function animate frames, and this will produce the GIF. I won't run it because it takes quite a while. I did the GIF before, so it's here. And as you can see, it's much nicer than the GG Animate. So this one has put lots of effort. So this is actually just an R package to do animation. So it's much nicer. Additionally to having the animals moving, you can put also environmental layers. And then the environmental layers change with time as the animals move. So you can, I don't know, have NDVI, and the NDVI changes over time as the animals are moving over time. So that is also a pretty cool feature that the package has. Yeah, currently the background maps are not as nice because of all this transition that, so OSM is not working with ggmap, and you need the API key for the Stadia, and there's all this like mess going on. So currently the maps are not the most nice ones, but it will be updated, and there will be again background maps that are better. People have been like complaining, that's why I just say it ahead of time. Yeah. So any questions? Okay. Yeah.
I struggle finding the code to make these maps with the rasters, because when this package was released, it was 4 years ago or something like that, because I didn't find them. The some codes to plot the raster as a background, as you said before. So are there more examples, or could you provide it? Because it seems that GG Animate is more straightforward because it works with ggplot2. So but yeah, I know this example, but the thing is that the code, it's not, I didn't find the code. Maybe it's somewhere, but
the code of this example?
Yeah, this.
So, oh yeah, so one thing, it's
Yeah.
here in the R. So the last time AniMove was recorded in 2022, the developer of MoveVis gave a session on MoveVis. So the video is there and all the scripts are there too.
Okay.
And I don't remember exactly, but I bet he included this example as well. So
Okay.
they are in the script. Probably that script exactly won't run because of all the deprecations.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But you can work with it.
Yeah, useful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.